Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the 2024 Grotmas calendar. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. This Christmas, the Red Gobbo has infiltrated the Warhammer community advent engine and tinkered with its inner working. It's no longer outputting mysterious images of miniatures yet to be, but entire and entirely new detachments for Warhammer 40,000. There's a new match play legal detachment for Warhammer 40,000 available to download every day until the 24th of December. There are actually 30 in total, with a few options coming on some days. So here we see the Grotmas calendar with 24 boxes leading up to Christmas. Check back on the Warhammer community every day of December to open a new door, and there might even be a surprise awaiting you on Christmas Day when it's all done. Grotmas calendar Day 1. Grandfather Nurgle brings gifts. Like Father Christmas, Grandfather Nurgle has brought a new detachment for the Death Guard to kick off the Grotmas calendar. The fly-blown host takes advantage of diseased flies that follow in the wake of Mortarian's forces. Here's the Warhammer 40,000 design studio with more. As the Death Guard stride inexorably towards their foes, the battlefield buzzes with the wing beats of a trillion swollen flies. Bloated and mutated plague marines march beneath a pathogenic haze, striding forward slowly and purposefully, unleashing precious salvos of diseased projectiles. The obscuring swarms follow their foes' return fire, and whatever clots of contagion their desperate shots manage to clear away are filled moments later by yet more hovering insects. Amidst the droning miasma, the Death Guard stride on, at one with the crawling horror surrounding them. As the horrifying cloud washes over their enemy, the warriors retch and claw at their skin. The plague marines exploit the distraction ruthlessly, cutting down and sickening foes and leaving nothing but rotting corpses in their wake. Death Guard infantry take advantage of the verminous haze to scout at the beginning of the battle and benefit from being harder to hit. The Detachment, Enhancement, and Stratagems explore the narrative further, with one like the Rejuvenation Swarm, while the warrior calls upon a swarm to rejuvenate their contagion by regaining all of its lost wounds at the end of each phase. Stratagems like Droning Horror allow the Death Guard to benefit from distractions the swarm causes to their foes. Alright, so we got the new download for this detachment. Let's take a look. Fly-blown host. So keep in mind that the Death Guard are still going to possess their army rule, and then this is a new detachment. So because Death Guard currently only has one detachment, you're going to be switching out that detachment rule and all the stratagems, as well as your enhancements, and then you're going to get the following stuff instead. So Verminous Haze. Death Guard infantry units from your army that are not embarked within a transport have Scout 5 and Stealth abilities. So it is worth note there that this is only going to benefit Death Guard infantry that are not within transports. So you're going to gain the Scout 5 rule and then also Stealth abilities. So Stealth's going to give you -1 to hit at range, which is going to make you much more survivable, especially against armies like Orcs and then also Astra Militarum that rely on higher ballistic skill, as this is going to decrease their ability to hit you substantially. And then also this is going to make all your infantry extremely fast with a Scout 5-inch move. So it's basically an entire extra turn of movement before the game starts. So you can scout forward 5 inches, reposition out of range after you know who gets the first turn, making sure that you're either concealed or even closer to the objectives or units that you want to get to. So very, very strong. This is particularly going to benefit Terminator armies that started their models on the board. So if you're running a ton of Terminators like Death Shroud or Blightlord Terminators, they're suddenly going to have that extra 5 inches to get them forward. So very, very strong. And then to go along with the detachment passive rule, you're also going to have some options for enhancements. All of the points are listed to the right. So we have Droning Chorus for 15 points. Death Guard infantry model, ranged weapons equipped by models in the bearers unit have the assault ability. So this is going to allow you to advance and then shoot your weapons, and that's going to benefit the entire unit. Insectile Murmuration, 20 points. Death Guard infantry model only. Each time a model in the bearers unit makes an attack that targets a unit that is within contagion range of one or more Death Guard units from your army, reroll a wound roll of 1. So again, going to benefit only infantry, but if when you shoot, your opponent is within your contagion range, so it's going to get stronger as the game progresses, and you're going to reroll all of your wound rolls of 1. And then we have Rejuvenating Swarm for 10 points, Death Guard infantry model only. At the end of each phase, the bearer regains all of its lost wounds. So this is very, very strong on things like Terminators or durable units, as if you fall short of killing them, they're going to fully re-heal at the end of the phase. So that is very good for 10 points. And then we have Plague Veil, 25 points. Death Guard infantry model only. While the bearer's unit is within range of one or more objective markers you control, that unit can only be selected as a target of a ranged attack if the attacking model is within 18 inches. So again, very, very strong. You're going to be able to position an infantry unit on an objective in your backfield, and they're not going to be able to be targeted unless your opponent's within 18 inches. Or if you're on one of the objectives trying to take it from your opponent, including stealing their home objective, suddenly it's going to be much more difficult to deal with them at range. So very, very good detachment rule. Very strong enhancements as well. Let's take a look at these stratagems. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, CMO Games. CMO Games carries a full range of Games Workshop products including miniatures, paint, terrain, tools, and more. They take pre-orders for most Games Workshop new releases as early as possible, usually 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. CMO Games offers 15% off of MSRP for most all Games Workshop products and offer fast free shipping to the continental United States on orders over $50. Most orders ship out within 24 hours. You know their customer service is top-notch as they've been selling games online for over 20 years. Use the affiliate link below and let them know that Warhammer Man sent you. So for one command point, we have nauseating paroxysms. When start of the fight phase, target one Death Guard infantry unit from your army that is within engagement range of one or more enemy units. Effect: select one enemy unit within engagement range of your unit. That unit makes a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the result. So start of the fight phase, you're going to target one of your infantry units, and then you're going to select any one unit within engagement range. They'll take a battle shock test at -1. So this is particularly strong if you want to try to battle shock a unit to stop them from being able to use stratagems. So effects like this are a little bit swingy, but when they do go into effect, they are very, very powerful. Then we have Vermin Cloud for one command point. When fight phase, target one Death Guard infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Effect: until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a pile-in consolidation move, it can move up to 6 inches instead of up to 3. So it says when fight phase, so you can do this at any time in the fight phase. You pick a Death Guard infantry unit that has not fought yet this phase. And now suddenly you can pile in 6, and then you can also consolidate 6. So you could gain up to 12 inches of movement during the fight phase. So again, very, very powerful stratagem as it's going to give you a ton of extra mobility on an infantry unit. Really good for things like Terminators. To not only make sure that you get them all into combat so they actually fight, but then also to get to another unit to tie it up or to get onto an objective. And then we have Eye of the Swarm. When your shooting phase, target one Death Guard infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Effect: until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit, excluding blast weapons, have the pistol ability. So again, infantry only in your shooting phase, but if you have a unit that is tied up in combat, you can turn all of their weapons into pistols, so you'll be able to shoot those weapons in combat. So again, very strong stratagem. And then we have the Droning Horror, one command point. Your shooting phase, one Death Guard infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Effect: until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a ranged attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. If that attack targets a unit within half range, you can reroll the hit roll instead. So rerolling once to hit for one command point is not particularly amazing, but if you use this within half range, you're going to be able to reroll all of your hit rolls instead, so not bad. Then we have Enervating Onslaught, one command point. When your charge phase, just after a Death Guard infantry unit from your army makes a charge move. Target the Death Guard infantry unit. Effect: select one enemy unit within engagement range of your unit, excluding monsters and vehicles. Roll 1d6 for each model in your unit that is within engagement range of the enemy unit, adding 1 to the result if the target is not a cultist or poxwalker model. For each 5-up, the selected enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound to a maximum of 6 mortal wounds. So very, very strong. You're going to do this in your charge phase, just after you make a charge move, so you're going to see who is within engagement range of 1 inch of your enemy unit. It has to be one of your infantry units, and you can't do it against monsters and vehicles. But you're going to roll a d6 for each model in your unit. You add 1 if it's not cultists or poxwalkers. So any infantry like Plague Marines, this is going to be strong on, Terminators, etc. So for poxwalkers and cultists, the effect will trigger on a 5. For everybody else, it will be on a 4. And then you'll do 1 mortal wound for each successful roll to a maximum of 6. So a 6-man unit of Terminators is going to average 3 mortal wounds. Same with like a 10-man unit of poxwalkers or cultists, but a 20-man unit will average 6. So a really good way to proc somewhere around like 3 to 6 mortal wounds against a unit that is not a monster or a vehicle. And last but not least, we have Myphetic Invigoration, one command point. When your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. Target one Death Guard infantry unit from your army that is within 6 inches of 1 or more friendly Maieutic Blight Haulers. That was selected as a target of 1 or more attacking units' attacks. Effect: until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, if the strength characteristic of the attack is greater than the toughness characteristic of this unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. So this one's rather situational. You have to have a Maieutic Blight Hauler. You have to have a Death Guard infantry unit within 6 inches, so not that hard to set up. And then you're going to subtract 1 from the wound roll that targets your unit. So pretty strong detachment. Obviously this one is going to focus specifically on infantry, as basically everything is infantry only. But realistically, if you're running a horde list with a lot of poxwalkers or cultists, if you're running a bunch of Plague Marines or a bunch of Terminators, this detachment could be very strong. And while the actual detachment itself is a little bit situational because it's mostly benefiting infantry, It's not going to stop you from taking things like Mortarion or some of the other vehicles available to you, but in particular, it's going to give your infantry a ton more mobility, a ton more durability from shooting, and then also a bunch of janky tricks with the enhancements and then the stratagems as well. I think this is a very good detachment, and we're definitely going to see a lot more play for Death Guard, who's already in a good place. So let me know what you think of the new Flyblown Host detachment for Death Guard. What other detachments you're hoping that arrive in the future? Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products. And make sure to tell them that Warhammer Man sent you. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and this detachment is awesome, and I'm excited for what's to come. And I'm out of here.